All right, so thank you so much to each one of you who are joining us right now on our QTV breakfast. Now, obviously, we might as well want to delve into a conversation that I think is emerging to be a very, very important conversation, talking about the social issues, the high cases of divorces in Zambia, and of course, what needs to be done. Now, the other day, I had this conversation. Actually, Rhoda is the one who started this conversation a few days ago. She had a pastor, that is Pastor Davis. They began a conversation, and of course, I completed a conversation on her behalf because she wasn't available and she wasn't feeling too well. So, some of the key things that Pastor Davis actually highlighted in his comments is that, the high divorce cases that we are seeing in our country is as a result of a number of reasons, ranging from financial disputes, marrying a wrong partner, and just all that. But obviously, he spoke from a pastor's point of view. But today, I thought of bringing somebody who will be able to speak from a woman's point of view exactly. Put it, what she's observed. She's married, she's got kids and all that. And she's also working. Because one of the key things that also Pastor Davis highlighted is when women are doing fine in society, they tend to start developing a certain behavior and attitude which obviously undermines their capabilities to submit to their husbands. They change the way they see their husbands, especially if they're earning more than their husbands, especially if at all they're the ones who seem to be providing more than their husband and all that. So she's working, and of course, she's got a family, she's got a husband and all that. So maybe we get a story from her point of view as well. Dorcas, good to see you. How are you?
I'm all right, Nelson. How are you?
Do you remember the last time that you saw me?
No.
You can't remember.
I'm
Yeah.
actually so excited to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been?
I've been all right.
Okay.
I've been pushing.
Okay,
How have you
great.
been?
How is family? How's work as well?
Um, I would say all is well. Everything
Okay.
is fine. Yes.
Great.
Sure.
Obviously, my first question before we get into the conversation is, for how long have you been married?
Um, I've lost count of the years, but this should be our 14th year.
14th year.
Yes.
Great. Um, how have you been able to juggle whatever you've been doing? You've been a housewife. You've been working. At some point, you and I had a conversation of school. You remember?
Yes.
Exactly. You had school to take care of. You've got kids. How have you been able to juggle all this? One person, different assignments, different responsibilities.
Okay, so time is allocated to each of the things that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I would say I have an understanding man he's actually there for me and he supports me with whatever I decide to do.
Okay.
So I would say with that support, I've been able to do quite a lot. It's not easy, but I've been able to manage with whatever I'm doing because of the support that I receive from my husband.
Okay.
Yes. So most importantly, the support.
Hmm.
I think the support keeps me moving.
So the supportive team.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Great, great. But at some point, did you at some point feel, you know, that, especially when you started receiving promotions at work, feeling okay, you know?
Like I'm the boss,
Uh-huh.
or I've never felt like that.
Okay.
You
What
know,
has
we
helped you
started.
remain so humble to your man despite, the nature of your job, the ranks that you might have had and all that?
I really understand where we're coming from,
Mhm.
and I have so much trust in that man. And I think the love has contributed. I love and respect him so much. And I know that we have a very bright future together.
Okay.
I know, of course, 14 years ago we used to say this, and here we are. So the love that I have for him and the love that he has for me has kept us going. And I always recognize the fact that when I'm at home, I'm a housewife.
Mhm.
When I'm out of the house, I can be anything. I'm an officer, everything that you want to call me. But when I reach at home, I'm a wife.
Okay.
Yes. And I want to always allow my man to be the boss in the house.
Okay.
Of course, we are friends, we share ideas, we do things together, but I want him to have an upper hand in whatever we're doing.
Okay.
And it's because of the respect and the love that I have for him.
Okay.
that I've been able to stay humble
Mhm.
in the marriage.
Okay. Interesting. Do you think many women lack that which has made it very difficult for them to submit?
I don't know what to say about that, but I think the exposure part is causing a lot of havoc in these marriages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you're seeing a lot of things out there and you want to explore. And a lot of women now are saying they want to explore, they want to try out this, that, because they feel like they shouldn't be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like if they give the man the chance to rule in the house, like he's controlling them, and that is what they don't want to accept. But it's not. I think it's not difficult, more especially if we follow the Bible, which is very clear and which tells us that we have to be submissive to our husbands. If we follow that rule or that verse that talks about that, I think it will be easy for each and every woman in this world.
Okay. Do you sometimes find it very, very difficult yourself to submit to your husband? And when you talk about submitting to your husband, is it in everything or in something?
My husband has to hear me out in
Okay.
certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every time maybe that he brings in an idea that I'm okay with, and it's not every time that I bring in an idea that he should be okay with.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to meet somewhere. And when we talk about submission, this is where like I earlier alluded to this, that he is the man of the house.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring it to the aspect of work or in every organization that you go to, there are ranks, right? There's obviously someone who's senior than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's because there has to be order and sanity in that place. So for sanity to always be there, I'll say this again, I always recognize the fact that he is the man of the house.
So recognizing the fact that he is the man of the house, um, has it made it easy for you to obey him? Has it made it easy for you to respect his decision, for you to listen to him, for you to, support his decisions? Sometimes decisions that he might make as a man might not be very, very appealing to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. But how has it made it easy for you to do that?
Recognizing the fact that he's the man of the house, and obviously following that what the Bible says about me at
Mhm.
times being in the background,
Mhm.
has made it easy for me to honor him and obviously let him lead. And that's what I was talking about. In every organization that you go to, there is order, there is peace, and there is everything nice that you want to see in any environment or every organization that you go to, because God has placed someone to be in charge of any place.
Mhm.
And that's why um if we were all at the top, I think there wouldn't be sanity in any place.
Okay.
So that's why everywhere you go, there has to be at least someone above another person.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Great. Now, me here now, I'm thinking, okay, I think Dorcas has it easy
Mm.
because also the nature of her job makes it easy, maybe maybe to listen to their husband, to support the husband, to respect the husband on that, because the nature of the job that Dorcas does demands that
That.
you respect that rank.
Okay.
Is that the case?
Not really. I got married before I started working.
Ah, okay,
Yes.
okay.
So even the teachings have really helped me.
Mhm.
I had people who taught me how to be a wife, what to follow, what to do, what not to do. And those I move with those teachings everywhere I go.
Mm.
So even when I'm somewhere and my husband is also somewhere, I'll still remember the teachings. I'll be like, those people taught me like this, and I don't want to be a disappointment to anyone.
Ah,
Yes.
wow, wow, wow. So now, I had to begin the conversation probably primarily focused on you, because I want the viewers to understand where we are coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, I want them to understand that I'm not talking to a marriage counselor, but I'm talking to practically a housewife, but a housewife who is doing very, very fine in society. She's saving her own the country and all that. So now let's come to the conversation here.
Right.
When you read in the media, when you look at the latest statistics by the Zambia Police Gender Division, they are quite alarming. And I'm sure that, even the police themselves, the gender division, they are worried looking at the cases of, divorces that we are recording as a country.
Yes.
It seems like the concept of marriage is slowly failing in Zambia. It seems like chikwatiche mzambe vikwatiche vikanga chabe. What could be the problem here? Are we fighting spirits? Is it a spiritual thing? Is it that people are now getting into marriage, seem not to understand their roles and responsibilities? Is it that we're not teaching them enough? Is it that we're not preparing them enough? What is it really that's going on here?
There has been a lot of things that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of information. I think the media has made it easy for each and everyone, every person to access whatever information they want. So you find that I'll start with your newly word.
Yeah. So
I'm advising you.
Exactly, I'm paying attention here. That's the reason why I've even put my gadgets on the table so I can listen.
So you find that just when you're getting married, there are lessons that we go through, there are lessons that we learn, and there are a lot of things that go through a lot of people's minds. When you're getting married, you have all these expectations. You want this, that. Like you've envisioned a lot of things. And then when you don't meet them, then you become discouraged. And that's why we're seeing a lot of divorce cases. Sometimes they're emanating from a time when someone had a lot of expectations, and when they're not met, they're discouraged and they just want to walk out of the house, which is not supposed to be. And then the second thing is that we have to normalize the issue of going to a counselor, and probably it's not just when you have problems that you have to talk to a counselor. But there are times when you just go to a counselor and get these lessons, because information these days is born every day, every minute. We have new information coming. And so sometimes just go to a counselor, both of you, when you're both happy, you don't have problems, you go there just to seek for more knowledge, because those people obviously are teaching on a daily basis. And so new information, they're getting new information every day. And so most of the times, before we encounter any problems, we go to a counselor, we talk to the counselor, just to learn about how to handle each other in marriage. And then the things that we are forgetting, to those that are working, there are times when you don't give attention to each other. And so you find that this person wants your attention. Maybe you were at work the whole day, and then when you go in the evening, instead of you giving attention to your wife, you're on the laptop doing this and that and that. So as they are trying to look for attention, slowly the love is diminishing. I've heard of women who've said, like they've become that I don't care type of a person. So whatever you do, they don't care. Meaning that the moment they stop caring,
okay.
So the moment they say, I don't care about what he does, in the moment the husband will say, I don't care about what she does, then things will just start, the love will dwindle, and it will lead to a lot of things. And then on the aspect of the man, at times I think you men are just looking for somebody who's going to respect, understand you, love you the way you are, and all that. But when you find that, I've had conversations with a lot of men and women, and obviously the points that I've gotten are that I'm not respected enough in my home. And due to that lack of respect, the man will go and look for someone who's going to respect them, who's going to give them who's going to give him what he's not getting from the wife. And what happens? they'll obviously lose interest in the wife because they are getting all the attention and the respect and everything from the other person. They'll lose interest in the wife, and then the end result will be divorce. So this time around, we've forgotten about why we are getting into marriage. We've forgotten about why we are married. We've forgotten about why we started this whole journey all together. And what we're just thinking about is me, 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 me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And if we communication is everything and everywhere you go. In everything that we do, we obviously have to communicate.
Even
So
when a couple fights?
yes, you have to communicate because you need to sit down. Then how are you going to sort out your problems if at all you don't talk? So communication has to be there. I've heard of women who say men have built a lot of houses out there and they don't tell their women. What will happen at the end of the day? Because if you are hiding all the assets, all the properties that you have out there, and then I just get to hear about them, maybe from a friend or people saying, "Upi at a place," and people are saying the owner of those houses, ni bamuna bako. There's no communication there. And then every day we need to normalize telling each other that I love you, I care about you. Even when you're not together, there are times when you move, you're out of the country, you're out of a place where you're staying. So we just normalize calling each other and obviously sending those love messages to each other. They say every day should be Valentine's for a couple. Yes. So communication has to be number one in everything that we are doing. Because when you're upset, you need to talk to your friend. Okay, this is what I'm going through. There are times when you're at work the whole day, and then Kunchito, it's not every time that there is peace. Wakukadi pizza, you go home, you're just like that, you're so upset, you're looking so sad, and then you're not telling your friend what really is wrong with you, and you're thinking your friend is going to guess. Because I was at work, my friend will know that I'm not okay or I'm upset. At least when you reach home, at least you tell your friend, okay, this is what I've gone through and this is how my day was. So that at least even her will know how to handle you. That is communication. Yeah, and there are a lot of things that come with communication. But all in all, communication should be number one. When you're not upset, tell your partner. When you're not happy, tell your partner. Yes, when you're sad, when you're happy, tell your partner, I'm happy because I got a promotion. I'm happy because I made so many sales and all.
So now, Dorcas, if at all a couple's relationship is just started spiraling downwards, exactly, it's just going downwards. All they do, they can't just talk nicely. All they do is fight.
Yes.
They just seem not to understand each other and all that. How would they handle that? Because I think it's at that stage that now they will even start thinking, I think she's a wrong partner for me. I think I married wrongly and stuff like that. And these are people who brought two different families together, who brought the church to bless their marriage and all that. Exactly. So how can they begin addressing that so that, it doesn't have to go to the level of divorce?
Okay. No wonder I say that. You need to see a counselor.
Okay.
When you discover that the relationship is going down, please go and see a counselor. Talk to someone. You don't have to bottle everything up, but talk to someone. Okay, this is what is happening. The problem is that we feel as though whoever we tell is going to expose us. And obviously that picture that people have of us and of our relationship is not going to be seen when I share something with someone. At least there has to be someone that you trust. Tell that person about what you're going through. There is always help out there. And then at times, as a couple, it's not every time that you have to sit, the two of you, much to discuss and the like. But sometimes you need some alone time. Think about, why is it that my marriage is falling? What haven't I done? So alone, sit and think about what you haven't done, what you need to improve on. And then when you come and sit as a couple, obviously it will just be, the conversation will just flow. And then you realize that, okay, these are the things that we were not doing. And from now henceforth, we'll start doing these things.
It's because of you. The problem is that when I'm talking, you also want to talk back. No, 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 no. It's because of you, honey. Because the problem is that you always want to make decision on your own.
Yes, I
You're
am. I
getting that?
am.
Exactly. Naturally, we tend to throw the ball. Exactly. Naturally, we tend to throw the ball. I throw the ball to you. You throw it back. I throw it back. So, how can a couple avoid that? Especially when they are sorting out problems.
That's why there has to be one. Bemba say wa minsula.
Okay.
There has to be one who has to at least lower him or herself. And it goes back to the respect that I was talking about. So it's not just about me respecting you and respecting all your decisions, all your opinions, but it's about respecting each other. Yes. So when you have respect for me, obviously you hear me out. When I have respect for you, I'll hear you out. But last and then you give each other a chance to talk. Yes.
Okay. We are trying to talk about marital issues here, and we are trying to look at how can we avoid our relationships, our marriage to be specific, reaching to the level of divorcing each other. Obviously, people usually say, even the Bible actually at some point when Jesus Christ was addressing one of the congregations, he said, rekindle your first love.
Yes.
Now let me throw that question to you now. Obviously, when your relationship, your marriage is passing through turbulent times, it usually becomes very difficult to rekindle that first love. To even think about what you actually liked about this woman and what you liked about this man. How does a couple begin to rekindle that first love that they had for each other, which brought them together?
When you realize that he's only human, and when he realizes that you're only human, and we're bound to error. Yes. So the love can be rekindled when you both realize that, okay, this that we are doing is coming from a human's point of view, and there's no, we haven't really invited the Holy Spirit to lead us. Yes. So when you realize that we both make mistakes because we are human, then the love can be rekindled. Because after recognizing that we're both humans, you obviously work on whatever it is that is bringing conflicts between the two of you. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I wanted to say, there are a lot of things that cause people to divorce. I don't like talking about this, but I have to talk about it. Sexual satisfaction.
Wow. Is that a big deal?
It is, because Nelson, why would I leave my father's house and go into a man's house? Obviously, it's about it's not just about because I love this person and we've been promising each other that we'll stay together and all, but you find that
yeah, I want to hear. I want to listen here. Yeah, I want to listen.
You find that your friend is very fast, and once they are every time, because for us women it's very difficult rather to come out and tell your partner that and we'll keep quiet about it. So you find that every time you start the game, someone will remain Mulusaka, while the other one is already in Chibombo, which isn't supposed to be the case. And most of the time when we see it as women, because we have we talk a lot as women. We have a lot of events where we are just women talking about marriage related issues. And when we see it, there are a lot of complaints that will come from women where you find ever since this person got married, they have never enjoyed their sexual life. Because every time akachiri mundu sakaeve, the other person is already in Kabwe. Yes. And so many excuses. You find at a time your friend wants to, you're always tired, you're sick, you have a headache, you have a stomachache, you have, all those problems. So you find for every excuse to bring. Every time somebody wants to have some alone time with you, you're either sick or you're tired. It really discourages someone and they get depressed. And that is also, in as much as people might want to hide behind the finger, but that is also a reason why someone would just say, I think we're incompatible in this area.
Oh.
And so they are looking for compatibility, and they'll go out, and and that's what the Bible discourages. Yeah, infidelity. So if we want things to just be moving well for us, that aspect also has to be looked at. Sit with your wife, honey, nipe sopo where I don't, you feel like I need to improve. And then both of you need to agree, okay, when you touch me like this, So yeah. And then abuse.
Okay.
Yes. Abuse, it's not every time that you have to physically abuse someone, but you can emotionally abuse someone. Sometimes you always want your friend to feel like she's not that important, and she's not even your level, and there are times when you make her believe that. Yes.
Okay.
So there are different types of abuse, but emotional abuse, physical abuse, all those contribute to a marriage disintegrating. Yes.
How about finances?
Finances. We have heard of a lot of fights that usually come from money. Usually month-end problems start because you're about to get paid, problems will be born. Yes. So as a couple, there are many times that you need to sit down together, because obviously you have plans. Even before you got married, you had brought forth your visions, your goals, and whatever you want to do. And then you need to be talking about your finances. Okay, what if we don't have something at this point? How are we going to survive? Because finances have brought a lot of problems in many marriages. Month end, there are a lot of fights because she wants to do this, you want to do this. And as a result, when you don't meet somewhere, a fight will emanate. And then there are times when, okay, as a couple, you need to be managing your finances together. You bring in a two-kwacha, she brings in a two-kwacha, put it on the table, and then make a budget together. But wanting to run a home independently and wanting to manage your finances independently is what causes many problems when it comes to the aspect of finances.
Great. It's a very, very good conversation. I'm hoping that after this we'll have another program specifically dedicated to. Let's talk about it. Maybe we could. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Where you can
I'm
be
looking
coming
forward
to
to it.
to just advise couples like that. I think I love the idea. So now I'm thinking, if you and I fight, we have a fight in the home. What should be the first line of defense for us? Who should we go to? Should I report you to your relatives to say, okay, this is what she does? Should I go to my relatives and report to my relative to say, oh, okay, me that woman, she gives me hell in the house? Or maybe I should go to the church, to Balangizi, or what? Where should I go first? And where should you go first?
You need to pray about your situation. And I think that is a point that I didn't bring out. You need to pray together. Sometimes, even alone, you can pray, but they always encourage praying together. It's not every time that you have to expose your partner's weaknesses to his people. It's not every time that you have to expose her to her people. And to the church, we have different people in the church. So we have different departments, and obviously a department that looks at family life. But it's not every person who's in that committee who's confidential or who's got confidentiality. So you find once you go and expose your partner, bazasebana, or the story will go out. But sometimes you can just talk to someone who you feel like this person, once we bring this person on board, things will be sorted out. But the first thing that you have to do, try to sit as a couple and talk about it. You can only go out there if you discover that the problem that you have, you fail to sort out the problem that you have as a couple. That's when you can engage a third party. But let's try by all means to sort out the problems on our own. We talk, we sit. If at all we can't resolve our issues, that's when you say, okay, let me talk to a neighbor, let me talk to an elder from church, let me talk to her mother or her sister. Maybe they will pump some sense into her. But first things first, talk about it yourselves. Yes. So every time you have an issue, run to yourselves and talk about it. If it fails, then that's when you extend the thing to others. But the first person, both of you, talk about it first. Yes.
I love that. Wouldn't you love us to have a TV program specifically dedicated to these matters where, we have people like, Dorcas and of course others to come and try and share ideas in terms of what's working in their homes, which can also help you build your home and stuff like that. One thing that I've realized about conversations like this are usually driven, we usually pick people. Most of our Balangizi, you find that maybe she's not even married, or maybe she's a divorcee,
Yes.
and so on and so forth, or maybe she's a feminist, whereby they believe in feminism and all that, and they're the ones that we bring to come and advise a couple that is getting into marriage and all that. Exactly. Yeah. I think for me, I think that is where I think the problem actually starts. I mean, if I'm not married, how can I advise a couple that is getting into marriage? What am I going to tell them? So I think we need a situation where, we should have people who have been married before.
Yes.
Not people who have been married before, but people who are actually married.
Yes.
To come and tell us how are they managing their homes when they fight? How do they handle their fights? I think that's what we want.
Yeah, I think that's how it should be. Sometimes these people are so misleading. You find that they'll bring in ideas that are not even going to help in the house. And sometimes when they're teaching this person, they'll obviously go off key, like in music, where they'll be talking about things that they don't know will have an impact on this person. They'll have a conversation somewhere. They have a bride. They are teaching a bride somewhere. And then they'll have a conversation with another person innocently. And they'll be saying, if at all he handles me like this, I can do this. While the other person is listening. And they don't even know that this is going to be impactful in that person's marriage. And then it's not, we need to be practical. Sometimes somebody who will be talking about certain things will talk about them nicely out of experience. So we need to be a little bit practical. Bring someone who's married and bring a couple. Sometimes they sit and you sit as they are coaching you, as they are preparing you for marriage. Yes.
I love that idea. Okay, so when you look at Radio QFM, okay, every Sunday at 9, we usually have a program called Q Talk. So this is where now we bring, people's situations back to life, and the people call in and they contribute. But what we are trying to do is bring Q Talk where, we have married people on set to come and try and help sort out situations. Not just any person, but we're looking at married people who are still married. They can be married for 10 years, 14 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years. Those are the best who will be able to tell us how they managed problems in their homes. Wow, Dorcas, it's been great.
Thank you so much for having me. When I received your invitation, I was like, wow, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. And you've been very handful.
There. Really, thank you so much.
Very handful.
But maybe before you close, I wanted to talk about something that I haven't mentioned. You need to make your partner your best friend. Every time I hear something, every time I'm cheated otherwise, the first person that I would call is my husband.
Okay.
Yes. And he's always there to comfort me, whether I'm happy, sad. And so you need to make your partner your best friend,
Your gossip
such that
mate.
whatever happens to you, you're able to tell your partner, say, this is what is really going on. Because at the end of the day, have you realized that just visit the hospital? You'll find that when a man is sick, the wife is always there.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who's taking care of him. The parents are elsewhere and the wife will be there, and vice versa. So we need to realize that when you get married, this is my friend. Come rain for sunshine. This is a person who will be there for me for life. And then the issue of divorce shouldn't even be on our tongues. When we fight, when we argue, because we are only humans, it's not every day that it's bed of roses. It's not every time that things will go according to the way you want things to go. Sometimes you have problems. When you don't have problems, just know that there's pretense somewhere. And Chizaka Badwa Chabi, at that point when you least expect, someone is holding grudges. Whatever happens, they keep it, they conceal. So it will just be one day when she's going to burst out, when he's going to burst out. After all, that day you did this, that day you did that, like that. So we need to be friends. We need to be best of friends. We need to know that this is the only comfort that I have. And every day, I'll repeat this one because I said it in the beginning. Every day, please tell each other you love each other, you care for each other, give that attention, even if it's just for an hour. When you reach home, obviously freshen up and sit down with her. How was your day, honey? How was, just like that, every day, and you'll see that life will be very sweet for you. That's how it's always been sweet for me, because I'm always talking to him, even when I'm sad. I remember there was a time he told my sister, this one will always be my baby, because she reports about everything and anything. So I asked him, should I stop reporting? Then he said, oh, no. Then I'll notice the difference and I'll think that you're doing something.
Yes.
So every day we need to talk to each other, and I'm a presence, Pamwamba. So when you're going back home, please buy her something, even a
Yeah,
sweet.
she told me she needs some juice. So
Yes,
yeah.
every day you're going home, even a sweet for 15 way, it will make a difference. Those are things that will constantly make that love to flourish, constantly rekindle the love that we're talking about. Yes, so these things are not easy, but we need to have the patience. We need to sacrifice. We need to be committed to this relationship, and we need to be consistent in our everyday activities towards that marriage. Marriage is always sweet when the both of you are working towards seeing it work. Yes.
All right, so well, we'll definitely put a deep thought to the idea of bringing Q Talk to TV. I think it's going to be exciting. All right, so Dorcas, once again, thank you so much. I'll be calling out your office exactly. So please tell your boss, wow, we are back again. This relationship again, it's back.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. I have actually enjoyed the conversation.
No, it's been great. It's been great. So if you're a couple that will be getting into marriage very, very soon, remember that it takes two to tango. So it takes the two of you really to build a successful marriage. Okay. Otherwise, just watching QTV, and we'll be back shortly.